Hi, welcome to Manas Shil YouTube channel. Before we start, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you. Let's start the video. If you haven't watched the previous video, I'll link it in the description box, or you can click here. Tensura Volume 20. Chapter 1. The First Battle. Piliate's Evolution. Before Gata's eyes, Piliate was transformed beautifully. Although she had always had an unusual and beautiful appearance, now Piliate is transformed into a mysterious and beautiful woman in everyone's eyes. No, it is not a change but an evolution. Piliate's scars accumulated from the battle have been torn open, and a beautiful woman with beautiful skin has emerged from under the scars. How do you do? I am Piliate, Queen of the Bugs. Even her speech had become fluent. It was obvious that she had become a supernatural being, different from the ones she had been fighting. It was no wonder. This Piliate was the vice king of the Insectar and the female emperor who truly rules the insect general. Now that she had revealed herself, Gata's chances of victory were as good as lost. You've got to be kidding me, really. Gata muttered his true feelings. It's not like we're getting stronger or anything. This is not the time to say that we should be stronger. Ranga nodded his head in agreement. What are you going to do then? Gata asked Ranga in return, and Ranga seemed to be at a loss for words. But then, as if he had made up his mind, he spoke his mind. We have no choice but to run away. Gata, you also feel he is dangerous, don't you? Gata is stumped by the blunt answer. No, I think so, but I don't think it's a good idea to escape by ourselves, he says. Gata, too, thinks Ranga is right. Piliate, who had been fighting earlier, might have had a chance to win depending on the way they fought. But now, there is no chance at all. So much so that the current Piliate has an overwhelming presence. She calls herself a queen, and she is beyond the power of all insect generals. Yes, she is even superior to Zes, the head of the insect general that Carrera is dealing with. Ranga and Gata sensed it correctly. Even if they fought, they would lose. However, they did not want to be the only ones to escape. If they ran away, they would not be able to show their faces to their friends. If it is hell to go, it is also hell to escape. But there was no time to worry. Shut up. We may look different, but we're still going to do the same thing. Carrion was the first one to make a move, shouting, I don't care if I look different, I'm still going to do the same thing. Carrion chose the burst roar, his best special move. Without thinking of what would happen later, he unleashed his versatile diffuse focus particle cannon without hesitation. Carrion's body transformed into a particle with a will and approached Piliate, who stood tall. For a moment, an instant. Piliate does not move. It is not that she cannot move. No, you idiot. She doesn't even need to move. Piliate's breath had turned into a poisonous mist that clung to Carrion in the form of particles, and then drained him of his kinetic energy, rendering him immobile. However, Free did not expect Carrion's defeat at this point. She flew away from Carrion's attack as a distraction and landed behind Piliate. And here was Free's trick. I'm going to block your movement, she declared. She declared right after she grabbed Piliate with Garuda Claw. Free's magic interference is effective to the ultimate realm of divinity. Its power is so strong that it can block a Dalman's Necronomicon, and with her Garuda Claw, she can kill any opponent. Also, she can block the ability of any opponent with her Garuda Claw. No, she should have. Piliate smiles, even though she is in a tight spot. And then she says, it's sad. My children were defeated by someone of this caliber. What? Free asks, but is immediately silenced by a hard blow to the abdomen. Ha, ha. Despite her startled expression and bleeding, Free follows her instinct and removes her hand from Piliate's. That saved her life. If she had believed in the Garuda Claw, the next blow from Piliate would have killed her. I see, you have good intuition. The claws made me a little weak, but I could have killed you with 2 blows. But it makes sense now. You were experienced in combat, not in strength. Then, my children's honor will be a little better restored. Piliate sings as if she were singing. I can't believe that you could so easily disable my claws. You're an unbelievable monster. Free is now convinced, too. Like Gata and Ranga, this would be the place to die. The same is true for Carrion, who is lying on the ground. Carrion is so exhausted that he cannot even make a sound, and he is unable to even try to fight back. In this situation, he has no choice but to run away. Hey, I don't mean Free's words, but I didn't expect her to be such a monster. He regretted that he had not seen it at the beginning of the battle. Well, even if I had seen it, what does it matter? Carrion says to himself. Come to think of it, he should have been more careful when Carrera's Abyss Annihilation threw back at them. It was their fault that all of them who were present that they thought that she was a mid-range and long-range magician. But I can't believe Milim didn't notice it either. Why didn't she move? No, I see. Insect Lord Zalanis is a much more dangerous opponent. A chill ran down Carrion's back. Then he remembered the battle with Milim. The reason why Milim, who seems to be an absolute being, does not move even in this crisis. It was obvious that the Insect Lord Zalanis was the reason, which meant that he could not expect any help from Milim. Is that so? Damn you. Then this war. It would be a disservice to their friends to even think about it from that point on. Carrion thinks so and starts to think about what he can still do to help. Free is seriously injured, though not as badly as Carrion. Free's and Piliate's gazes cross. Free is prepared to die. Since Piliate is the absolute leader of this place, no one can stop her. If that is the case, Piliate should kill the weakest one. Because Free would definitely do so. I'm sorry, Carrion. I wanted to know more about you, but it seems I'm done here. Free made up his mind and prepared himself to at least take one last shot. But then, a man stood in front of Free. This man, Midley, confronts Piliate to protect Free. Oh, so that's how it is. The purpose of the special barrier that has been spreading around the battlefield is to collect the energy of your dead comrades for you. Not only to collect. I, on the other hand, want more power so that I can give birth to stronger children. Piliate answered with a smile as she looked at Midley. That was enough of an answer for Midley, and he knew that he had to get rid of Piliate. If we let her go, we are sure to create many more monsters like the insect general that we have just defeated. The problem is that we are the ones who want to escape. Midley's eyes still had hope in them. Then, defeat me first. He declared, and took a deep crouching posture. He shifted his center of gravity to his right foot, and lightly moved his left foot forward. At the same time, he clenches his right fist and squeezes it at the waist, and holds his left hand out in front of him as a check against Piliate. The next moment, he exploded his power starting from the tiptoe of his left foot, and his body was a cannonball. Then, from the thrust with all his might, he released a mass of fighting energy in the shape of a fist. Dragonfang Holy Fist. He unites the energy of the earth with his own fighting spirit, which runs through his body from his toes to converge into a fist. Then he unleashes this special move, Dragonic Cannon. He does not spare any energy, but uses all his strength, and even the energy of the earth is combined with it. It is a blow tinged with divinity, powerful enough to be used against superior opponents. This was the profound essence of Midley, the greater chaos spirit I imagine. Unfortunately, Piliate could not understand it. That's an interesting move. If I learn this, my children will become stronger. With a laugh, she easily deploys a magic circle to manipulate space and obliterate the Dragonic Cannon. However, this is just as Midley expected. In fact, Midley did not think that this would be the end of the game from the beginning, and his role was a decoy. And of course, it was Gopta who struck the real blow. Don't forget me. I'll take this too, I'll take this one too. Gopta jumped out of Midley's shadow, and at the right moment, he performed the Apocalypse Howling. However, that did not work either. Piliate was unfazed and deployed another magic circle at the same time to eliminate Apocalypse Howling as well. It was a complete surprise attack using Midley as a decoy, but it did not reach Piliate. However, there was still a glimmer of hope in the faces of Midley and Gopta. Here was another true contender who had finally made her move. Who else but a bear could have done it? You're so proud of yourself, you little bug. While Piliate's attention was drawn to Midley and Gopta, a bear was preparing a deadly attack. She unleashed her second planet's booming of the day. Unlike Midley and Carrion, a bear's existence value is comparable to that of Piliate. Therefore, the attack would not have been safe even for Piliate. Everything was in the palm of Piliate's hand. And there was no time for despair. I'll pay you back. Piliate told her with a smile. The intent was revealed by a shower of meteorites falling from the heavens. Piliate had diverted the power of 3 special moves and spread them over the battlefield. It was a devilish act. It was a tyranny that took lives of both friend and foe like Jia. Midley glances up at the heavens in panic. Everybody, prepare for impact. Gopta, being Gopta, warns his friends of the danger via telepathy net. A bear calmly slashes at Piliate. She intends to kill Piliate in close combat, since she cannot use magic or emission techniques. Piliate frowns at this. As a matter of fact, there is not that much difference between a bear and Piliate in their overall combat abilities. Piliate's spatial domination gives her an absolute advantage over mid to long-range fighters, but she is not that good in close combat, as evidenced by her failure to finish off Esprit and the others. The plan was to gain a psychological advantage over a bear and overwhelm her. Yet, a bear was not afraid of having her special attack broken. A bear was also a fierce fighter who had experience fighting against cryptids. Having suffered from troublesome opponents with various characteristics, she was not fazed by a few things. Although a bear's attitude was a miscalculation, Piliate's advantage remained the same. By sprinkling death on the battlefield, all the energy of the battlefield becomes Piliate's power. But, isn't it strange? I was able to recover the power of my children, but not the rest. Piliate looked around the battlefield with this question in her mind, and then she realized that she had made a second miscalculation. The enemy force, and Milim's army, was protected by Geld and his men. Don't give up. As long as we are here, no one will be killed. Geld's strong and reliable voice echoed across the battlefield. Ow. The legionnaires led by Geld are also pushing themselves to meet the legionnaires' expectations. Even if their shields are shattered and their armor is lost, their strong bodies were filled with strength to protect the others from the falling meteors. And that's not all. The demons under Carrere's command were also active. Restoration magic flew over the battlefield, healing the wounded soldiers. And then... Hey, you've got a lot more work to do. One of the Devil Chevalier, with such a light-hearted remark, exercised the god's miracle. Resurrection. By believing in Rimuru, they had even learned to resurrect the dead. Even if their bodies were shattered, their souls would be retrieved by the demons and resurrected at a later date. The morale of Milim's army remained high because even the dead could come back to life, albeit with a time limit. Everyone was facing this challenge head-on in order to accomplish the mission with all their might. Piliate was the first one to become upset when she realized this. The dead are coming back to life. There is even such a secret technique in this world. Piliate muttered in surprise. Abera explains to Piliate, cowering her shoulders. It was supposed to be forbidden, but it was so widespread that it was irreversible. In fact, Abera was also astonished when she found out about this. She was told this story in the strategy meeting, and I wanted to look up to the heavens and say, no way. But it is too late now. Since this secret technique has already spread so widely that it cannot be recovered, it would be more constructive to make effective use of it. Abera decided that it would be the right thing to accept it, since it would reduce the rate of loss on the battlefield to as close to zero as possible. Therefore, Abera also predicted this situation to some extent. They did not expect that their own techniques would be repelled, but the damage was only done by the enemy's bugs. It was unfortunate that the energy was concentrated on Piliate, but considering that Piliate was the only enemy left, the situation did not seem that bad. Now, you must be prepared. From now on, it's time for a one-sided hunt. Hunting down and killing prey is Abera's specialty. Abera's face is even beginning to show a smile, as she has always been leading a group battle with a superior opponent in mind. What are your instructions, Master Strategist? Midley was also relieved that the damage to the battlefield was minimal. He had not expected destruction on that scale, but he was happy to see that Geld and his team had escaped the disaster. With his fears over, he gladly joined Abera's command. I don't have any objection either. Gopta was on board. Against a strong opponent like Piliate, they would have no chance to win if they did not cooperate with each other. It was difficult for them to get along with each other on the spur of the moment without any training, so they decided to join Abera's command. Thus, Abera, Midley, Gopta and Ranga and Piliate were pitted against each other. However, another intruder appeared. Mother, grant me the honor of crushing your enemies. Mujika, who had left Geld behind, dug her way through the ground and jumped out. The score is now 3-2, but the numbers can change. Don't forget about me too. Me too. I hope you don't think that was the end of it. Carrion and Frey, healed by Geld who had arrived on the scene, stand up, though still wounded to the bone. Their wounds are visibly healed, but they have not regained their lost strength. They could not perform any major moves when they were out of gas, but they were determined to do more than nothing. I'm here too. Geld is also in high spirits. The score was now 6-2. Gabu and the Beastketeers are on the battlefield, dealing with the remnants of the bugs. Either way, Piliate is not a force to be reckoned with, so it seems safe to assume that those who have gathered here are the total force. Even in front of the assembled warriors, Piliate smiles bewitchingly. It's a wonderful body. Yes, it is. We will use you to create stronger children. This confident statement in front of Abera and the others. And on that basis. Restorative life. Piliate was able to use her stored energy to strengthen the children she had created. This, of course, only applies to those who are still alive. However, Zess and Mujika were still alive and well on this battlefield. Here and now, with 2 super warriors as her escorts, the queen, the wife of Insect Lord Zelanis, has revealed her true nature. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy it.